noodles. One of the cheapest meal options on the market, and one of the first meals we've all learned how to make as a kid. If you're here in the U.S., we all learned how to throw the brick inside the bowl with some water, put it in the microwave until the noodles are nice and tender, throw your sauce packet in, mix it, and eat it right up. It's one of the first meals you've ever learned to make. It's just like making a TV dinner and all that. You know what I'm saying? That all being said, as we all know, there are two brands that are considered the kings, top of the class when it comes to making ramen. And that is, of course, Maruchan and Nissan's Top Ramen. And yes, it is Nissin Top Ramen. It's not just called Top Ramen, there's an actual brand name. Nissin. Learning something new today, ain't you? That all being said, right? That all being said, today we're going to be comparing the two brands to see what's the better noodle. Because let me tell you something, man. I see these two in the stores a lot. And a lot of people think that these are interchangeable. But in reality, one flavor hits better than the other, and one noodle is way better than the other. But which of these two brands is going to take the top of the tier? You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of brands out there that make ramen noodle flavors, but these two are the most prominently known here in the U.S. And today, we're about to test them out. Now, our plan is, of course, going to be to cook these guys exactly the same. We're going to be using some onion. We'll use a little bit of a melon, a little bit of grinded down melon. Whoa, what am I trying to say? We're going to grind up some melon rind as a garnish. And, well, I think you get the whole picture. I'm done sitting here stumbling through this little intro. You know what I'm saying? That all being said, like I said, the plan is we're going to cook them the exact same, both of them. And we're going to try them to see who has the better flavor and tell you guys which of these brands is the better brand. Without further ado, I'm going to get to cooking. You know what I'm saying? Everyone, we finished up cooking, put it all together, cooked it all. Both are made the same way. Real quickly, just to go over, the way we cooked them is we did the basic boiled water, throw your noodles in, get them soft, throw them in the bowl, throw your mix in. We threw in some onion, and then we ended up zesting up, or not zesting up, but grinding up a little bit, or not grinding up, shredding up, or I guess technically the way I did it was shaving it. But anyhow, right, the melon shaving slash the melon garnish or whatever it is, you know, I shaved a little melon, threw that in there, so we got a little garnish in there. We got ourselves the onion in there, mixed in our flavor packet. Our noodles are made with the same amount of water, same consistency. If you're wondering why it seems like there ain't much water in there, I love my ramen noodles to basically have barely enough water to be able to mix that packet in and let all of that just soak into the noodle and kind of dry into the noodle. It's the way I love my noodles. Everyone likes their noodles a little bit different. This is just how I do it. Now, I have decided that I would prepare this taste test as most people in the U.S. would enjoy a meal of ramen noodles, which usually would be, you know, a pack of ramen and then maybe a sandwich to go with it, or in this case, a slice of toasted bread. That being said, in this right here, we have Top Ramen, and this right here, we have Maruchan. We're going to go ahead and give them I almost said give them a tart, but we're going to go ahead and start eating into these bad boys and seeing which one's the better. I'm going to start with Top Ramen, and we're going to see, you know, how good it is. Looking at the noodle consistency, just barely enough to coat it and get the flavoring in there. It is looking pretty good. I will admit that the Top Ramen when you look at it in the bowl, looks a lot more wetter than the Maruchan noodles. And they have actually been sitting for longer than the Maruchan noodles, so it's a little surprising. Usually you, when you make the ramen like I do it, the more it sits out, the drier and the less moisture there is on the noodle. But this right here has a pretty good sheen to the noodles. Very good glow to it, I guess you'd say. Really ain't much more to do other than just you know, take a bite and eat it. So without further ado, let's get something with some onion in there. Let's give this a try. Ready? The top ramen, the noodle is very, very... The noodle texture is very wet for top ramen. I feel like top ramen really struggles to, like, mix well with the broth. You know what I'm saying? The noodles themselves are very moist and wet. A lot of people love that. I like my noodles a little bit more drier. But I'm going to have to give that... let's give another bite real quick. I'm going to be brutally honest. And I mean brutally. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. It's not inedible. It's not trash. It's not like eating a McDonald's burger. But, you know, it's not much flavor there. The noodles are very soft, wet, moist, however the hell you want to call it. That melon zest we put in, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of putting that melon zest in it. It does add a little bit of a flavor to it that doesn't ring well. And the onion is actually helping bring some of that more chili, peppery taste. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and if you're wondering what kind of ramen we use chili flavored ramen if you couldn't read. Anyhow, pretty solid. Like I said, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Oh, wait, better yet, we got to do the bread bite test. This is where you take a bite of your bread, take a bite of the ramen, see how it feels in the mouth. Still, ramen's going to get a 6 out of 10 overall, but you got to grade it alongside that, you know, so. So, that wasn't too bad. I will admit, it was like having a bunch of soggy shit on some soggy bread. But it wasn't bad at all. Wasn't bad at all. Let's go ahead and put this aside. Let's pull up our Maruchan bowl now. Make sure our fork's all nice and cleared off everything. Here's our Maruchan's piece of bread. Here is our Maruchan bowl. Looking at the Maruchan noodles, I got to flip it a little bit because there's still a little bit of moisture on the bottom, a little bit of liquid on the bottom, a little bit of broth to mix in with it. But for the most part, the Maruchan noodles look to have absorbed a lot more of the moisture than the top. The camera will never do it justice. But I would say that the top ramen overall looks about 15% more moist than the Maruchan ramen. I will say that the top ramen has a lot more deeper of a red color, whereas that flavor packet red dye really shows. Where the Maruchan has more of the noodle showing through in the color with a very low amount of the red there. That being said, we're not going to stall anymore. We're just going to take ourselves a good bite. Let's get ourselves something with some onion on it and stuff. Damn. And not in a good way, damn. Damn. Now, I'm going to admit, right? Usually I'm more of a Maruchan guy. You know? Especially with the chicken ramen. Just kind of dries a little easier. You know what I'm saying? But the chili flavored one... Let me take another bite. Nah, I was just being autistic. Sometimes I'll eat something, and I'll taste something first, and then for some reason that first bite feels like, oh, that's how this should taste. And when I try the other one, the different texture and the slightly different flavor sometimes throws me off. Nah. Maruchan's like... $5 better, 5-6%. Like if I'm giving Top Ramen a 6, I would probably give Maruchan a 6.25. Not that it's bad, it's a little bit better than the top, but like usually the difference for me, right, especially if I'm like comparing the two chicken flavors, most of the time Maruchan blows top out the water. This time around, I'm gonna be honest, these two, you know, the chili version of these two is pretty comparable, I ain't gonna lie. But I will say that I'm more leaning towards the Maruchan. And, you know, it's a mix of, like, the flavor tasting a bit more like actual chili and not just some over-processed crap. And it's the noodles. If you didn't know, right, the Maruchan noodles, I feel absorb moisture a lot better. And they tend to get the texture that I like a lot more consistently out of Maruchan than I do Top Ramen. That all being said, Maruchan, in this battle of the ramen flavors, or whatever I'm going to call this, right? I don't know. Will I call this fucking comparing ramen noodle brands or whatever? I don't know, right? But what I will say is this. These two noodles are really good. They're extremely similar tasting. And honestly, you can't go wrong with either of these two brands when it comes to their chili flavor. But if I were to pick my personal preference, said that weirdly, my personal preference, it would of course be Maruchan. Now, I want to try something before we end off the video here, right? Because, I don't know if y'all ever done this, but I'm mixing the two brands together to see if we can't create some sort of super mega brand of ramen that somehow is better. What do we call it? Maybe Top's Ramen? Something like that? I don't know. Top Ruchan? Taruchan? Haruchan? Topabuchan? Kabuchan? That's the type of monkey, Kabuchan. I wonder if a Kabuchan monkey would like this. I bet you they would. Or maybe not. I don't know. Either way, let's taste test this bad boy, shall we? Got it all stirred up. Now let's see how it is when it's mixed. I instantly made a massive mistake. I forgot to do the Maruchan and bread bite. Doesn't change it up. It's still a 6.25. It's still going to barely walk away with the win. But I think I have just made probably the single biggest fucking mistake of my life. Oh! Don't mix the brands. Don't mix the fucking brands. And it's not even the flavor. Flavor's still good. It actually tastes kind of nice. It's the texture. The fucking two different noodle types. You got the more firmer, more better Maruchan noodle mixing it with that fucking weird, slimy fucking Top Ramen noodle. Ugh. Still gonna fucking eat it, but that is a weird ass texture, motherfucker. That all being said, ladies and gentlemen, that there's my thoughts on today's video. Hopefully you guys like, comment, subscribe, and make sure to check out the links in the description because we got tons of different things down there. We have channel sponsors that offer us some discount codes that you guys will love, along with my CAMEO and everything else. That all being said, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you share it around, let all your friends know about this little comparison. And without further ado, I'm going to let you guys go do your thing, all right? Peace on out.